What's up, y'all? Um, I'm gonna make this video in response to my last video because a lot of people, it was nuts. It was amazing the feedback that I got from that video. Um, a lot of people asked me to continue to talk and possibly inspire some people to move towards making the right choice to do what they got to do to get their shit together. And first off, when I made the video, I was really in my feelings about what had happened. Um, so there was a massive amount of cussing and stuff like that, and I apologize for that. To me, it's how I am. I like to keep it raw. I like to keep it real. I don't sugarcoat things, and it's just unfortunately how I talk. So I'm gonna try to keep it down a little bit this time, so it's a little bit more friendly to some viewers or whatever. But um, you know, in response to like a lot of private messages that I got, people asking me. I was getting messages yesterday from like people from Kentucky and Georgia and stuff like that, and these people were asking me, what they should do, like what kind of steps that they should take to address a loved one that's going through this situation. And there's many different ways that you can go about approaching a person that's actively addicted. um, my personal favorite is if they're on the run, or they're in trouble with the police, or they're stealing from you, press charges on them, get them locked up. You know, I'd hate to sound like a snitch. I mean, I've been to prison. I lived in the streets, or no, I didn't live in the street. Well, yeah, I've lived in the streets actually. But I consider myself a street kind of guy sometimes. But you're not snitching, for an unnoble cause. You're snitching for something that's really, something that could save somebody's life. And getting somebody locked up is that's using opiates is the best thing for them, bar none, bar none. It's gonna hurt. You don't want to see your loved one, go to jail or prison or whatever. But I tell you what, it's gonna help you sleep at night. Um, After they go in there and they go through some things, and they learn the ropes in jail or prison or whatever, they're gonna realize it's not as bad as the status quo of what it is, unless it's, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some majors out there where some major things are going on, but 9 times out of 10, if you're a junkie stealing and stuff, you're not going to go to those places, man. If you stay in your lane and just stay out of the way, you're not going to have any problems, So anyway, if that's an option, do it. Stop enabling them, you know thinking that something's just gonna miraculously happen here on the street, where they're using or whatever, and they're gonna just get their shit together. That's wishful thinking. It's probably not gonna happen. um, so if you can, press charges on them. My mom pressed charges on me. She tried to drop the charges, of course, because she was my enabler, but luckily the city of Chesapeake picked them up on me because we live in a Commonwealth state. And I had wrote the checks. I went to the bank with my ID, cashed them, with the thought in my mind that my mom, my enabler, would never press charges on me. And the Commonwealth picked them up on me and gave me 6 years. And had it not been for those 6 years that they gave me, nobody would have had any kind of reins on me whatsoever. My mom spent tons of money sending me to rehabs and stuff. You know what I would do? I'd stay there for about 2 days, buck on the rehab, catch a cab home because I didn't have any money, knock on my mom's door at 2 o'clock in the morning and tell her, hey, there's a cab guy out here. You need to pay him. And of course she'd be mad and upset and frustrated, but she'd do it. And she realized that that was the only way that she was going to actually get me somewhere where I couldn't leave. And they only held me there for a couple of weeks, and she bonded me out. I remember the day that she bonded me out. It was February the 14th, 2004. Valentine's Day. I was in there on a $1,000 bond for a $80 check that I wrote in Chesapeake. I had called so many people. I only needed somebody to pay $100, but my mom had called everybody and said, if you bond him out, I'm gonna kill you. Excuse me, I got allergies really bad, and they're killing me right now. Um, and she made me set. She made me set for 2 weeks, and I got cleaned up. And she came and got me on Valentine's Day. And you know what? I did pretty good for about a month. I was right back out there using again. By the time we went back to court for sentencing, um, I was getting high again in pretrial, and you know, I got locked up again, and then I came home, and then I got high again. Then I got locked up again, and I came home, and I got high again. And Judge Smith, who is a very, very fair man here in Chesapeake, great man, great judge. I've got the privilege to meet him kind of on a personal level because I was in drug court. I was the second person that graduated drug court here in the city of Chesapeake. I actually went and spoke to a senator and a couple of delegates up at the General Assembly to try to get drug court funding because they were doing it for free. The probation officer, my probation officer, Andrea Sutton, one of the best ladies you ever meet in your life, gave me so many chances, sent me to prison, sent me to a couple of rehabs, came home from prison, had her as a PO again. Um, all these, her, the judge, all of the people from the community services board, Bill Evans, Dr. Bill Evans, who was an addiction specialist over there. I don't think he's there anymore. Just a lot of people. We're all doing drug court for free because they have a passion to help people get their lives together. They don't think that, necessarily throwing somebody in prison for 10 years is the key. Maybe a couple of years and then a lot of treatment, you know what I mean? But anyway, um, they got tired of the repetitive behavior of mine. I'd get locked up for 4 months, 6 months, whatever, and I'd come right back home, and within 6 months I'd be, running the streets again, getting high, and nobody could understand why. I was going to treatment at the CSB, but treatment at the CSB, a forced treatment, is completely different than a voluntary treatment because 9 times out of 10, like if you're at a CSB, you're being forced to go there by the probation office, and most of the people there are still getting high. So, like, you're taking somebody that might want to stay clean and forcing them into a situation where they're around people that are actively using. And they're already agitated and aggravated that they're going there 3 days a week for 3 hours a night. They go out for a smoke break. Somebody's got some dope in the car. Boom. Right back in it. But anyway, they got tired of my crap and they sent me to prison. And prison is what really woke me up. I mean, it did. Some of the stuff that I saw and experienced in there, I don't ever, ever, ever want to have to go back there and experience that again. And it was a huge wake up call for me. Now, the truth of the matter is that when I came home from prison, I did really well for a long time. And I had a slight relapse, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I was out of town, and I got involved with a contractor, and I was really depressed. I was away from my family for a long period of time. He had some Roxy's. I seen him dancing around in the snow that day. It's like a 60-year-old man, and I was like, "Man, what's up with you?" And he was like, "Oh, I got some Roxy's out in the truck. Go grab you a couple if you want." And I was like, "Nah, man, that ain't for me. I'll be out of this world if I do it." And it stewed. And like I was saying in the last video, I didn't call anybody. I could have called my boss that day, right then, said, "Look, I'm rolling it up. I'm sending everybody home. I'm coming on home for the weekend. I got put in a shady situation. I don't feel like I can handle it. Not today. I'll let you know tomorrow if I feel a little bit better about the situation and possibly go back out there. Or I'm going to need you to send another foreman out there." My boss, being the boss that he is, he would have understood. And he would have done whatever he needed to do to quell that situation. But, me being a self-righteous, I want to handle it on my own type of guy, I didn't call him. I didn't call my wife. I didn't call anybody. I walked around that job for 2 hours, stewing on what that man had told me. I found myself in his truck. I put the pills in my pocket. I grabbed like 3 or 4 of them or whatever. I walked around for about another hour with them in my pocket. Same scenarios, the Thanksgiving thing I was telling you about. Telling myself the whole time, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Next thing you know, I'm in the porta potty. I didn't just eat them neither, I snorted them. And I got high as shit that day. And it was terrible. And I felt like the biggest loser in the entire history of the world. And, you know, I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell not a single soul. I didn't tell my wife. I didn't tell my boss. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell them myself. And you know what I did next? I linked up with that guy and I got a whole lot of pills with the intent of, I'm going to just, dabble here and there. I ate pills every day for a couple of months. And the next thing you know, I was back on heroin again because I couldn't afford pills or find pills, and heroin's cheap. And by the grace of God and my wife, who's probably going to get mad that I put this out there, but it doesn't matter. She'll get over it. And my grandmother calling Miss Sutton and telling her what was going on. Miss Sutton called me up and was like, "Look, you need to come in today." And I was like, "I don't come see you for another 2 weeks." And she was like, "You're going to come here today at 4 or you're going to jail." And being me and her situation was kind of unique, I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, Miss Sutton, catch me when you can, just like always, because I ain't coming in there today." And she was like, Brian, she was really close with my mom. My mom had just passed. She was like, "Look," she was like, "you come in, I swear on your mom, I'll put you in treatment." She was like, "If you're not here by 4, you're going to jail." I had like one more year on my sentence. And I was like, so I called my wife and I said, "Look, I'm going to go home and put on my whites. Can you meet me up there, take me up there, whatever?" And she took me up there and Miss Sutton put me in treatment. She put me in Virginia Beach Psych. But unfortunately, the city of Chesapeake just doesn't have, they get allocated a certain amount of money to help addicts per year. It just so happened to be right at the time when they had got allocated some money, and I got really lucky, or I would have went to jail. And once I got to Virginia Beach Psych, um, you meet a doctor. And my doctor happened to be Dr. Hallman from Meridian Psychotherapy. And we sat and we talked for a while. It was about 48 hours into being dope sick. And I only was allotted 5 days because that's all the city of Chesapeake could afford to put me in for. And we discussed treatment options. And he said, "Brian," he said, "with your relapse history," he was like, "what do you think's going to happen if I let you out of here in 5 days?" And I sat there and I thought about it for a minute. And I told him honest. I was honest. I said, "Man, it's probably not going to be good. I'm probably going to go right back out, same environment, same people. I haven't even been gone a week. I'm still not going to be 100%. I'm going to be feeling sick. I'm going to be feeling, depressed and things like that. And I'm probably going to go out and use." And he said, "Well, he said, have you ever tried Suboxone?" I said, "I played with it a little bit or whatever when I couldn't score or something, but." He said, "Why don't we put you on Suboxone for a while, man? Let's get you in some groups. Let's get you some clean time. Let's wean you down. Let's get you off of the stuff." He said, "It's got naltrexone in it. No matter what you do, as long as you take that strip every morning, you won't be able to get high." He said, "You're going to go home. You're going to have an urge. If you don't tell on yourself, you don't, you let that urge brew, you're going to go get high." He said, you take this medication here for a couple of days." He said, "That's going to give you a good 4 to 8 days where you can't get high." He said, "If you do go home, you run into somebody and you get in a sticky situation." He said, "No matter what you do, you're not going to get high." He said, "And those thoughts go away. Those thoughts that we get, those compulsions that I was talking about earlier, they go away. And sometimes, if you're not lucky enough to get locked up and go to prison, Suboxone is the alternative. Because it gives you some stability for a while, and I'm not saying it's the answer. I do not condone long-term Suboxone usage at all, none whatsoever. I ended up being on it for 2 years, and I wanted to get off of it. I didn't like the way it made me feel. It made me feel stoic. Um, when somebody would say something funny, how you get that feeling inside of your gut, like in your soul, that like it's a feeling. It's like it feels good. It makes you laugh. It's the soul. You're laughing from your soul. Like when somebody would say something funny to me, I would just I'd be like, oh, haha, because I knew in my mind it was funny. Or like when I would go to embrace my wife, or your child or whatever. You don't, you're supposed to feel that feeling inside of your heart. I wasn't feeling that, and I was tired. I was ready to get off, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there, man. 22 days ago, I stopped taking that medication, and I got sick, and I still don't feel great. And you know, uh, it is what it is. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna fight through it. I'm a fighter, and I haven't had an urge to use in a long damn time. And I've put my business out there so much to everybody that if I do decide to use or do get an urge or whatever, I have no problem calling anybody any time of the day, including my boss if I'm at work, and telling them, hey, I'm leaving. I got to go. I'm sorry. I understand that he's got a company to run, and business is business, but you know what? This is my life, and that's how far I'm willing to take this. You know what I mean? And that's why I decided to, make another video. It's because me putting my business out there might save my life, man. It might save somebody else's life. But what I'm telling you is that, if you're dealing with an addict and you don't know what to do, and they're stealing your stuff, and they're doing all these things, press charges on them. Get them locked up. Save their life. Stop enabling them. Stop thinking that tomorrow they're just going to wake up and say, oh, I think I'm going to quit today, because they're not. I promise. I guarantee it. It only takes one time. You see people that are dropping like flies right now. The dope ain't the same, and unfortunately, it's gotten so far out of control. I mean, I read an article yesterday. There's 30 overdoses in Richmond over the weekend, I think last week. It's crazy. It's nuts. I've never seen nothing like this in the game. Been in it for 16 years. Never seen it. So lock them up. Get them locked up. Set it up with the police where you get them over there and set them up. Lock them up. Put their ass in jail. They're going to go to jail. They're going to kick. The people in the jail ain't going to give them shit. Nothing. Not even an Advil. There's the shower. Here's your tray. Have a nice day. And you know what? The inmates that are in there, they're not going to show no empathy for them. The inmates that are in there are in there bidding. They're doing their thing. They don't want to have to deal with you puking and shit. So you know what's going to happen? Your addict is going to go in there and they're going to man up and they're going to deal with it. And they're going to kick this shit and they're going to get back and they're going to start exercising and eating right and they're going to get their mind right. And they're going to live in an environment of hostility and hatred and all kinds of things that they don't want to be around. And hopefully it'll be a wake up call for them. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll take 2, 3, 4 times and maybe they have to go to prison. But you know what? It might save their life. 10 years of prison is better than the rest of your life being gone and all of the, you know, the sadness and despair and shit you leave behind for your family members. And if that's not an option and they're not stealing this stuff, talk to a Suboxone doctor. Unfortunately, if you go on Suboxone.com, you can find doctors here in this area that prescribe buprenorphine. Not just any doctor can do it. It has to be a certified buprenorphine doctor. They can only take a certain amount of patients. It's very costly. But, I mean, what's the cost when you're talking about a life of a loved one? It's nothing. I mean, do it. Get them on it. Get them stable. Make them watch you take it. If you're going to let them live in your house, if you're going to start anew and say, okay, you get in this, program, I want to see you take it every morning. Because I guarantee you, you watch them put it under that tongue for 15 minutes. I don't give a shit if a meteorite of heroin comes flying out of the sky and lands in their jugular vein. Nothing. Not a damn thing's going to, they can't feel nothing. So the compulsions and shit like that that's going to drive them to want to use, it's just going to go away. And in time, with some treatment that is required by the Suboxone doctors, and, they will be, they will gain a little knowledge about regular life again and figure out what it is that they need to do to maintain and live a regular life. And hopefully, they'll wean off the medication. They're still going to have to go through a little small kick. It ain't that bad. I mean, shit, man, I've been working every day. I'm not working right now because I got to do a night shift, but it ain't nothing. It's nothing. It's a pinprick in the course of life. It's nothing. So, it's an option. Don't put people on methadone. People on methadone go to the damn clinic in the morning. They take their dose. They tell the people the dose ain't high enough. Get on the high enough dose that they can get high all day at work, and then come home and shoot dope at night. I'm not saying everybody on the methadone clinic does that, but most people do that I know. And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to like throw that out there and say that I know that any of the people that are in the methadone clinic that I deal with are doing that or anything. None whatsoever. Am I trying to say that? But I ain't stupid. I've been in the game too long. I know the drill. I know the whole shit. That's what people do. So that's an option. There are a lot of options. But what I'm saying is that if you're dealing with an addict, encourage them to do something different. Don't keep going for the same thing every day, the same old routine. They wake up and they say, "Oh, I'm gonna see about calling around today. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. All this shit." Just you make the calls. You know what I mean? If you got to make the calls, you got to set it up. You tell them, "Hey, we're going to Meridian tomorrow. We're going to go meet this doctor. It's costing me $600. I don't give a shit. We're going. We're going to get you on this medication." They tell you no, say, "All right, well, I'll tell you what. Get the fuck out of my house. Don't call me. Don't do nothing. Show them tough love. Put them out on the street." You know? At that point, you got to put it in God's hand. I mean, you're already putting it in God's hand every day. Every day that they use, they're running the chance of dying. So, I mean, tough love. Don't ever, ever in your life, not one time, think that if you're showing somebody tough love, that you're doing the wrong thing, because you're not. You're doing the right thing. Don't give them $1. I don't give a shit if they want a cigarette. Don't give them a cigarette. Tell them no. You spend your money on drugs. If you had not spending money on drugs, you'd have cigarettes. "Oh, I'm hungry." Well, it's tough shit. Be hungry. Go cut somebody's grass and go buy some damn food and cigarettes instead of some drugs, you asshole. Selfish piece of shit. You don't smoke my cigarettes. No. Cigarettes are expensive. You ain't buying your damn cigarettes, asshole. You know, you got to keep it real with them. Like, for real. Like, that's how people hit bottom. That's how people, like, go and walk in a bathroom and close the door and look at themselves in the mirror and say, "Fuck, man. I can't keep living like this. I don't want to be a piece of shit." So anyway, that's just a couple of options. I'm going to keep this video a little bit shorter because I had a really hard time uploading last time. I have really good Wi-Fi. I don't know. I'm new to this. So I'm probably going to make some more videos. Maybe make a YouTube channel. See how it goes. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I just hope that, some of the people that did instant message me on Facebook or whatever, I hope that you were able to show it to somebody and that it clicked with them and that it helped a little bit, even if it got them thinking in the right direction just for a minute. It planted a seed in their mind. It made them think about something. Maybe it made them, just maybe it did something. I hope. And for you guys out there that don't understand the addiction, I hope that it, planted a seed in your mind too, and it made you understand a little better about, what goes on in people like mine's brain. It's a sick, sad situation, and it's not something that can just be cured. It is a lifelong fight. You must be vigilant, and this is one of my ways of being vigilant. I'm going to start to do this thing right here. A lot of people ask me to do it. I think I'm going to start doing it. So, along with many other things that I plan on doing. I want to live life, man. I love life. I love my little parcel right here. Got my little house, man. I got my little man cave. I got my Kurt Cobain poster up there. I got my little family, man. My wife, she's great. She's great support, man. She's tough. She's tough on me. I love my daughter more than anything in the world. And I when I look at her, it's just a constant reminder that I have to stay strong for her. I have to stay strong for my wife, but more importantly, I have to stay strong for myself. Because if I'm not strong for myself, I cannot be strong and supportive for anybody else. So I hope this video, along with the other video, will help. I plan on making future videos. If there's anything that you would like to ask me, I can talk about it in the videos. This is just what I came up with this morning. Medications to help detox if you're going to do it at home and stuff like that. I will have to figure out how to do some kind of disclaimer or whatever because I am not a professional, but I have kicked heroin, Oxycontin, Opana, methadone, Suboxone. I've kicked it all. I've kicked every damn thing. And I've kicked it several times, and I've kicked in jail several times. I've kicked on the street several times, and I can help people. I can help you through it. And if you're getting in the Suboxone thing, or you're already on it, and you're wanting to taper and you don't know what to do, I urge you to go on I can't remember the site, but there's a guy named Robert 325. Just look up Robert 325 Suboxone taper, and the guy's a genius. He's helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people taper down the correct way and get off the medication. And he stays up with them for months later, and these people are doing well, man. They're doing good. So hey, once again, I love all y'all. For all the people that are gone, all my friends, I love y'all. I miss y'all every day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about you guys, not once. And to all the people that are going to die in the future, I feel bad. It's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. Y'all need to take this shit I'm saying to heart. It's real. Like, y'all know me. Y'all know me out in this neighborhood. And for anybody else who's going to watch this, y'all know somebody like me in y'all's neighborhood. Somebody that's, kind of came through it and is trying to do the right thing. Lean on them people for support. If you're a person like me, understand, your role, and, you have to keep a distance as well. But there's other ways to approach it. I don't want to go out and try to hang out with 4 heroin addicts and try to talk them out of doing heroin today, because that's probably a sticky situation for me. But doing something like this, or going and speaking in a public arena with people, family members or whatever, these are things that you can do. So, I urge you to do them, because this is an epidemic. It's way worse than it's ever been, and it's only going to get worse. I promise. So, I love y'all all, and stay vigilant, man. Stay on their asses. Tough love, tough love, tough love. No enabling. Don't give them a fucking dollar. Don't let them borrow your car. If they're giving you some shit, put them out of your house. Do it. Tough love. It is what it is. It'll make them hit a fucking bottom. When they hit that bottom and they realize that there ain't nobody there by their side anymore, they're going to get lonely. They're going to get depressed. And, they're not going to go blow their brains out. You know why? Because they're selfish fucking asshole addicts. They're selfish. Selfish people don't kill themselves. They don't. Because they want that next fucking fix to feel good. So put them out. Put their ass out there on the street. Let them sleep in a fucking car one night when it's 22 degrees. Maybe that'll be the bottom they need to come home the next day and say, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, can y'all try to get me in that program? Or whatever. Or, if not, if they're stealing your rings and they're pawning your shit, lock them the fuck up. Get them help. I promise you, your local sheriff's department will give them all the help they need. 3 hots and a cot. I'm telling you, the best fucking thing in the world for a junkie. 3 hots and a cot. Love y'all. Talk to you later.